You know that person who gets asked, "So, what did you do this weekend?" and has to decide whether to lie? The one who says, "Oh, not much," because the real answer, "I organized my bookshelf, made tea 3 times, and genuinely had the best 2 days of my week," somehow sounds like a confession. Yeah, that person isn't boring. That person is wired differently. And today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who love staying at home, the ones society quietly judges, but science quietly defends. Here's where it starts. Most people think loving home is about being antisocial, shy, avoidant, maybe a little sad, but psychologists see something different. They see people whose internal world is so stimulating, so rich, so enough that the outside world often feels like too much rather than too little. There's a concept called sensory processing sensitivity. About 15 to 20% of people are born with a nervous system that processes everything more deeply: sounds, emotions, social cues, the energy in a room. For these people, a loud restaurant isn't just a loud restaurant, it's an overwhelming amount of data hitting all at once. Home isn't a retreat, it's the volume knob turned down to a level where they can finally think. And then there's the science of restorative environments. Psychologists have found that certain spaces restore our mental resources after they've been depleted. For some people, that's nature. For others, it's crowds and music and movement. But for a significant number of people, it's the familiar, the controlled, the theirs. Your home knows you. The couch has your shape in it. The lighting is set the way you like it. There are no social performances required, no reading the room, no wondering if you said the wrong thing. For people who spend enormous mental energy navigating the social world, home isn't laziness, it's recovery. Here's something people don't talk about enough. Staying home is often where the most important inner work gets done. Not therapy on a couch inner work, just the quiet kind. The kind where you sit with your own thoughts long enough to actually understand them. Research consistently links solitude with higher levels of self-awareness, emotional regulation, and creative output. Some of the most significant ideas in history weren't born in boardrooms. They were born in stillness, in a quiet room, in the space between the noise. So when someone says they spent the weekend at home doing nothing, what they often mean is they were finally somewhere their mind could move freely. Now, there's a version of this that isn't peace, and it's worth naming. For some people, staying in stops being a preference and starts being a wall, a way to avoid the discomfort of connection, of rejection, of being seen. Home becomes a hiding place rather than a sanctuary, and the difference matters. Ask yourself honestly, does staying in fill you up, or does it protect you from something you're afraid to face? One is self-knowledge, the other is avoidance, wearing comfortable clothes. Both deserve compassion, but only one deserves to stay unchanged. For the people who truly, genuinely love being home, they're not missing the point of life. They've just found a different entry point to it. They find meaning in the slow things, the morning routine that belongs entirely to them, the book that gets finished because there's no rush to be anywhere, the small rituals that sound mundane to others but feel like ceremony to them. While the world is optimizing for more events, more people, more content, more proof of a life being lived, these people are doing something quietly radical. They're choosing depth over stimulation, presence over performance, a life that looks small from the outside and feels enormous from the inside. So if you're someone who genuinely loves being home, who doesn't need to justify a quiet weekend, who finds peace in solitude rather than loneliness in it, you're not broken, you're not behind, you're not missing out. You just know where your energy comes from. And that kind of self-knowledge, most people spend their whole lives chasing it. Tell me, do you genuinely love staying home, or do you think there's a version of yourself that's been using comfort as a hiding place? Because that's a harder question than it sounds. And if you want to go deeper into the psychology of how you're actually wired, why you think, feel, and recharge the way you do, the next video is going to explain something about you that you've never quite had the words for. Watch it, you'll know what I mean.